In terms of, hey, something needs to change with teams to get them going. Well, the Braves and the Phillies are going. They have been fantastic. They have gone on long winning streaks. And I want to start with the Atlanta Braves. I want to start with a Braves team that I predicted to get back into the playoffs, to get back into the World Series. And I said that I think this team has the potential to be even more talented than the team last year that won a world championship. Why did I say that? Well, Ronald Acuna expected back. They didn't have him for the second half or the playoff run. Mike Soroka, one of the best young pitchers in the game when he went down, is thankfully and finally expected back after some freak injuries. But he's an easy guy to root for. He's going to come back. The rotation is only getting better. Max Fried, Kyle Wright, they have been fantastic. They have emerged as stars in this game. Spencer Strider, a rookie, has been so good. So the rotation's gotten better. You get Ronald Acuna back. But again, this year, it was just average. It was just mediocre. They hadn't turned it on. Well, here we are. After I called out the Atlanta Braves 2 weeks ago and said, this is unacceptable for the Atlanta Braves. You got to figure it out. The time is now because the New York Mets are far too good to just lollygag, hang around 500 again this year and then say, we're going to be fine. We're going to win the division. It ain't happening this year. It was time to go. And they went. And they have gone hard. They are on a 11-game win streak. They haven't lost in 2 weeks. The longest winning streak for the Atlanta Braves since 2013. 2013. That's a long time. Scored 6.9 runs per game, and they've allowed 2.7 runs per game during that stretch. That's a good recipe for success. 6.9 runs averaging on the offensive side and giving up under 3 runs on the pitching side. They're doing it all. They've held opponents to 2 runs or less in 7 of the 11 games on that win streak. Ronald Acuna during this 10-game winning streak. And he's a big reason for this. And this is a big reason that I wasn't panicking when the Braves weren't very good yet. Because they didn't have Ronald Acuna back yet. And I know he did come back after about a month, and they didn't turn it on immediately, but he is the heartbeat of that team. He leads off, he steals bases, he hits homers, he does the LeBron James, the Trae Young celebration. He's all over social media. He does the chalk thing in the dugout. He's the heart and soul of this Braves team. He comes back. He is healthy. He looks fantastic. And they haven't put any, restraints on him. You know, Ronald Acuna comes back from a gruesome injury, a brutal ACL tear, and you hear and you think, okay, he's not going to steal bags. He's probably going to DH a lot to start. No. They throw him in the outfield. He's stealing bases whenever he wants. He's hitting homers. He's running hard. He's playing good defense. It has been a lot of fun to watch Ronald Acuna. And on that win streak, he's hit 389, 4 homers, 6 RBIs, 2 stolen bases, 5 multi-hit games. Ronald Acuna Jr. is a big part of this winning streak. This is the Braves team I expected. Now, they went from way out of the standings, way out of first place, to at least closer. Do I think the Braves will win the NL East? I actually don't. I actually think the Mets are going to win the NL East. What we would have seen in the past is this Braves team go on a long win streak, the Mets go on a losing streak at that time, and next thing you know, the Braves are 2 games out. They end up taking the lead. This Mets team isn't the same. This NL East is impressive. I think the Mets can win the division. I don't care. I still feel good about my prediction. I still think this Braves team, when they get into the playoffs, is going to be a better team than what we saw last year when they ended up ultimately winning the World Series. They're not the only team in the NL East that has been on a tear. There's another team that I fully believed in and believed had a really good chance to make the playoffs, and it's the Phillies. I believed at the beginning of the year that this Phillies team, with the moves that were made, Kyle Schwarber, Nick Castellanos, and added some bullpen pieces, Corey Knebel, had the potential to make the playoffs and end what many don't realize to be the second longest playoff drought in baseball, behind only the Mariners. But they go on a 9-game win streak, their longest since 2011. 9-game winning streak for the first time since 2011. Rob Thompson, who took over after the firing of Joe Girardi, which came as a surprise to many because since 2018, no manager had been fired before the All-Star break. It was Mike Matheny in 2018. This year, we've seen it with Joe Girardi and Joe Maddon, so it's happened twice now. But it came as a surprise. There weren't rumblings of it happening to that point. Joe Girardi gets fired, and they immediately go on the longest winning streak since 2011. Rob Thompson, who took over, is just the third manager since at least 1900 to win each of his first 8 games as a manager. The other ones being Joe M. Morgan, 1988 with the Red Sox, won his first 12 games as a manager, and Pat Moran with the 1915 Phillies, won his first 8 games as a manager. They've got themselves right back into contention. That's what it takes, when there's a team that's struggling, like the Braves, like the Phillies, like the Angels, it takes something like what the Philadelphia Phillies have done. Okay, now we have to go on a winning streak. We're not going to get our way back into it by winning 6 of 10, 7 of 10. No, you're going to have to go on a stretch of winning 10 games in a row, of winning 9 games in a row. And the Phillies did that, and they've done it for the first time since 2011. A big reason of that, Bryce Harper, who's doing all of this with a torn UCL. 433 over the course of the winning streak, 5 homers, 13 RBIs, 5 multi-hit games in that stretch. So you have these 2 teams in the NL East that are far too talented to be under 500 teams, going on surges, going on their longest winning streak in years. And of course, it's their superstar doing it. It's their superstar that's a massive reason. Ronald Acuna for the Atlanta Braves, Bryce Harper getting it done for the Philadelphia Phillies. But business is booming in the NL East. And this is the NL East that I certainly expected. I believed that there could be 3 teams out of the NL East in the playoffs. I believe in my NL preview, I did predict that. I predicted the Mets, the Braves, and the Phillies would all grab a playoff spot. With there being an extra additional wild card spot, I believe that there could be 3 teams in the NL East. And now they're making me look good. I don't know if that's going to happen. They did dig themselves quite a hole, but the NL East teams are surging. A lot of them are playing really well, and the Braves and the Phillies are certainly a massive part of that.
I think the whole division is just playing an unreal level right now. I think going into Saturday night,
seriously,
you put out a tweet. The NL East had won 27 straight games. The division, 27 straight.
It's funny. You look at it and you think, oh my God, the Braves and the Phillies are on a crazy streak. So I'm looking at the standings and it said the Mets, who hadn't been playing great, they're playing 500 ball in a very tough stretch of games. They had won 1. They won their last game. The Braves at the time had won 10. The Phillies at the time had won 9. The Marlins at the time had won 4 in a row. And the Nationals even won 1. I don't know how to figure this out. We have the most talented research department of all time. I need to ask this question, and I'll get back to you if this is the longest. I don't know if there has ever been a divisional winning streak longer than what we saw in the NL East over the course of the past week, with the Mets, the Braves, the Phillies, the Marlins, and the Nationals all winning, and the Braves and Phillies being on a ridiculously long win streak that hadn't happened in years. I'd be interested to know that answer, and I want to find it out.
Thanks for watching. If you love flipping bats, swinging 3-0, or just talking ball, join us. Call us at 213-537-9339 with your questions. We have a weekly guest, and we have a lot of fun, so hit that subscribe button.